What's up, everybody? The Basement Behemoth here. Damn, bro, you looking wide. Damn. Okay, today we're talking about bands, accommodating resistance. Okay, now before we get into the function of bands, we need to understand the definition of a strength curve. Okay, now the strength curve is just the difficulty of an exercise from the start to the finish. Okay, so I'll give you a good example here. Think of a bicep curl, okay? It's going to be really, really hard at the bottom, and as you get closer to the top, it's going to get easier and easier and easier, okay? It's kind of like a bell-shaped curve. Now, the strength curve is going to be different depending on the different exercise just because of different leverages and different joint angles and things like that, okay? So, if we do that same exercise with a band, we can actually change the strength curve, okay? So again, it's going to be, we're thinking of a bicep curl, okay? It's going to be really, really hard at the bottom, but it's going to be its hardest at the top because that's when we have the band on full tension. Okay, so at the bottom it's relaxed. The more we stretch it, the more we get that tension on the band. Okay, now this is going to really help you build up your lockout on tons of different exercises, your bench press, your squat, your deadlift, things like that. Okay, so again, we can kind of apply the same principle to a squat. It's going to be really, really hard at the bottom, and as our leverages increase, as our mechanical advantages of our joints actually increase, as we get more and more upright, there's going to be more and more tension on the band, so it's going to be harder to blast through that band. Okay, and another overlooked concept of the bands is called overspeed eccentric. Okay, now there's three types of muscle contractions. There's the eccentric, which is the lengthening of a muscle while it's under load. The concentric, which is the shortening of a muscle under load, and then isometric, which is no change in muscle length. Okay? So if you think about it like if you were to throw a ball at the ground, okay, it's going to go so high. But if you were to take that ball and throw it down as hard as you could to the ground, it's going to rock it up even higher, okay? Same principle with the bands, okay? It's going to force you, it's going to overload that eccentric because you're going to, when you do especially like a bench press or a squat, it's just going to want to drop down to your chest really fast, okay? And you're going to have to fight that and then blast through that accommodating resistance, okay? And again, as the joint angles increase, the tension gets harder and harder. So your bench press might be really, really easy right here normally, but when you have a lot of band tension on there, you're really, really fighting to lock that out, okay? Now, another reason I really like bands is because you can get some extra volume in without really taxing your body. You don't need to use a lot of weight. You can just use the band, and bands come in various tensions, so it doesn't matter how strong you are, you can always find a band that's good enough for your strength level. Okay, so I used to do a lot of like accessory lifts after my main lift. So let's say I would do my conventional deadlift, then after I would do Romanian deadlifts and good mornings and box squats and things like that. And after a while, it just takes a really, really long time to recover. Okay, now you can get the same amount of work done just using bands, and you don't need to beat yourself up as much. You just maybe need to do a little bit higher reps. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. You should be using bands to increase both your strength and your size and the size of your muscles. Okay? I hope this was helpful. See you guys later.